Hiya, welcome to Cherishii.Yu. This is my art channel, but I do what I want, and so today God put on my heart to make a video about a conversation I had with a friend about me getting ghosted by a boy that I liked. So I put on my IG, my real IG, not my Cherishii.Yu art IG that y'all should follow if you want to follow me with my art music life. I put a quote on IG. The Lord gave me a word about ghosting, laughy face, Isaiah 5. And one of my friends DM'd me. She said to me, I need that interpretation, sis. So then I wrote out what God said to me, what I thought God was saying to me when He told me Isaiah 5. And I was like, you know what? Then God placed on my heart, because I was listening back to it for my own encouragement. And He was like, why don't you make a video of it and put it on your YouTube? And I was like, my YouTube is just for my gaming art stuff. But, the Lord casts out all fear, and it's my channel. I do what I want. And if people don't like my content, then it's not for them anyway. So let's get into these. God is bigger than likes, comments, and subscribes. So let's just get into it. I hope this is going. Okay, cool. So, I'll tell you the context. There was this boy that I liked. I thought he was the one. Then I learned he had a girlfriend at the same time we were talking. And then I realized he didn't like me the way I liked him. And I felt like he led me on. Maybe he was just being a friendly guy, but I'd never connected with someone the way I connected with him before. I was just very open about, myself. I thought he was open about himself, but in hindsight, I really don't know much about him. Especially if he was hiding the fact that he was seeing someone. Or maybe he wasn't. Well, regardless of how he may think the situation was, in my head, he led me on. So I've been, really racked about it. Hold on. Sorry, so I can't read the picture while also speaking, but I'm gonna try my best. And I hope I hope the recording doesn't stop. So yeah, that's me right now. I'm going through this, heartbreak because, I thought things were going so well, and then, I was telling him about something, messed up that happened, and he wasn't giving me, his full attention, and then he just stopped talking to me for 2 whole weeks. And we're in another group together, so we would interact. I would say things in the group, and I know he would read them because he would respond after, but he would never directly talk to me. And he was ignoring my DMs, but he was still active in the group. So I'm like, wait, I'm being ghosted. We didn't talk for 2 whole weeks, and I was really upset. And I ended up resolving that by writing to him that I felt unwanted as a friend when he didn't talk to me, and I got closure regardless of what he told me back. So but I still go back oh my gosh, maybe in the future he'll be my one. God, how long do I have to wait for him to not have his heart in darkness? How long do I have to wait for him to be my person? But you told me that I shouldn't. Anyway, we'll get into that. Basically, so I asked God, I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna ask you for your opinion on, I got ghosted. What do you have to say about this? And I was hoping he would speak to me, but I didn't expect that he was going to give me this story. So, Isaiah 5, I will sing for the one I love. That took me off at first because I was talking about love. A song about his vineyard. My loved one has a vineyard on a fertile hillside. He dug it up and cleared it of stones and planted it with the choicest vines. He built a watchtower and cut a wine press as well. Then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded only bad fruit. So that just spoke to me because I was just like, wow. So it's talking about love, right? And so the singer is yeah, I have a loved one, and I was doing all the right things. I invested in them. I set them up for success. I pruned them. I cared for them. I talked to them. And then I thought everything was going well. And then the crop only yielded bad fruit. So, and I love the way it was set up. It's like, then he looked for a crop of good grapes, right? So, the person was doing their best to cultivate this person and was expecting good fruit in return. And then, surprise, it's only bad fruit. And then the next phrase is, now you dwellers in Jerusalem and people of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done for it? And that just spoke to me so much, because I was blaming myself. I was like, maybe I was the clingy one. Like, maybe I did something wrong. Like, maybe he doesn't like something about me. And then the speaker here is talking about, like, what more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done? I gave it my best shot. I came out with him care. I asked him about how he was doing. I tried to love him. And what more could I have done? I didn't spite him. I didn't yell at him. Like, I really did my best. And what more could have been done than what I've done for him? It was like, I didn't expect God to bring me that phrase, because that's something I was thinking. And then the next part is, when I looked for good grapes, why did it yield only bad fruit? Now I will tell you what I'm going to do to my vineyard. And he goes into what he's going to do to the vineyard. And at the end, it goes like, the end of the story goes like, the vineyard of the Lord Almighty is the nation of Israel, and the people of Judah are the vines that he delighted in. And he looked for justice, but saw bloodshed, for righteousness, but heard cries of distress. And so basically, we now learn that at the end, that the story, the song of the lover, is not about romance, but it's about God's reflection and relationship with his people. So I thought the whole time it was about romance. I was like, oh my gosh, God is really speaking to me. And then I learned that it's got a biblical reason behind it. And I was just like, wow, God just told me Isaiah 5, and he brought me to this story that, like, really spoke to me. So basically, now we learn, like, why it's in the Bible, because it's a reflection. But it really gave me comfort, because it's just like, the vines he delighted in, the boy that I crushed in, the boy I had a crush on, he saw cries of distress. Like, he saw things that were not good. And, like, even though I delighted in my boy, the boy was just, like, was reflecting, like, bloodshed and distress and all these bad things. Like, not in real life, but according to the verse, right? So it's like, it's not my fault that things turned out poorly with him. It's not my fault for his character flaws. Like, and even though I did my best and I delighted in him, he's just bad. The people of Judah are just failing God. Like, nothing wrong, like, with God, God is perfect. And so it really spoke to me, that whole story. I was like, wow, I feel so comforted and seen and heard. Like, God really just sees how, like, I was just, like, I'm just hurt. And it's just infallible human nature to just be, for humans to let us down, I think. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm listening back to what I said now. And, like, the story is basically about how God loves his people and supports them, and how they still, in this instance, were producing bad fruit and they were doing bad things. And so in this moment, I loved this boy, and he ghosted me. And so it's not a reflection of, like, the love I had for this boy. Like, God just confirmed my situation in this story. He confirmed, like, yes, I saw that you loved him and you did your best for him, and you pruned him with the vines, and you made a wine press, and you tried to support him, you tried to find interest, you tried to make this work. And he just happened to be bad. He didn't hurt, like, not bad, like bad, but, like, happened to not be fruitful, happened to be a bad crop. And so I have to keep telling myself this story so that I can, like, work through my hormones, basically, because I still like him. Also, personally, it's just really hard for me to accept him as being bad, because I still hope that maybe one day we could be together. But also, like, the things that he did, in my heart, I'm like, I don't think I can accept someone that even made me feel like that, or did those things that I think I'm suspect of. And it's throwing me for a loop. And, like, That's what I'm stuck on right now, is how do I truly accept someone's flaws and character flaws as being their truth? And how do I not give them grace? Like, how do I accept that they are what they are? I mean, can't I wait for him? I don't know. Like, that's my thought process now. Like, okay, he's not for me right now, but maybe, yeah, that's what I said. That's where I'm at right now.
Hiya, so this is Chelsea. A break from your regularly scheduled programming. So I just wanted to interject before I continue on with the rest of my Instagram audio clips, just to say that there was so that was the first half, just analyzing Isaiah 5. And then in the second half, I wrote some texts to this person I was talking to. So after I shared those Instagram audio clips, I came to the conclusion that I was hearing God speak to me in Isaiah 5 about, I love you. I saw that you did your best to love him, just as how I invested in the vineyard, how I dug it up, how I built a watchtower, how I cut out a wine press, then how I looked out for a good yield of crops. Like, God did all of these things. And so the Lord was like, you know what, Chelsea, you did all of these things and it just yielded bad fruit. And it's not your fault that it yielded bad fruit. So that's what God was kept telling me with Isaiah 5. And then I wrote to the person I was speaking to, I'm hearing God speak, but I can't accept this truth for some reason. Then right after that, I wrote down, then it's like, trust the Lord and lean not into your own understanding. Then I said, so the Lord led me to Deuteronomy, where it says to follow the Lord's commandments, and God highlighted this line for me. And now we're going to go back to the audio clips.
Oh, so be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you, and do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess. So, whenever I hear those, you need to follow the Lord's commands, typically I get scared, oh no, I'm going to be judged. But this time when I read this phrase, it felt loving and tender, please do what I'm trying to tell you, because I'm trying to lead you into prosperity. And that's why this really spoke to me. It was the combo of Isaiah 5 and then also I'm trying to guide you to something that's going to let you prosper. And you gave it your shot and it yielded bad fruit, and you're not going to prosper if you continue to wait here. So that's why I'm racking my head with this. And then finally, it is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord to one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. That one is throwing me for a loop. I'm like, God, how can I do that? I love boys. I can't, you're not tangible to me right now. It's making me really question, because I'm okay, I can't love this boy more than I love God. But right now I'm loving the boy more than I love God. So it's just okay, it's really making me question my loyalties and my hormones, and I'm taking a really honest look at myself and my faith, and okay, why don't I love the Lord with all of my heart and soul and strength, and why does loving the Lord not renew me and fill me fully? And is it my pride? I'm not being faithful enough, I don't trust enough, what is it? Because technically, humans were made to live in harmony with God, and God was enough. And so if God is not enough for me, then it's something I'm doing, something I'm not accepting about the Lord, or his provision or something. And I'm not ready to be that honest with myself yet, because I feel condemned. I feel ashamed and prideful and hurt, and I'm just what am I seeking in this boy? I had a convo with my friend about it. She was like, what is this boy giving into? He made you feel bad. I'm like, yeah, he did. And like we broke it down and we found that there's nothing that he was pouring into me with, and I'm like, then why can't I get over him? And then she's like, it's a process. And I'm like, you're probably right, and it's probably just a process, and the Lord loves me and doesn't want me to be hurt, and he wants to remind me that this is a process and it's all for my good.
Hello, hello. Okay, so Chelsea again back here with her hindsight commentary. As I was listening back to this, God planted in my head, or maybe I just myself realized this, but I keep on talking about how can I trust God? And then I thought, when you give him when you lean on him for the little things, then you can trust him. So for this whole dating process, I remember just for the first time ever, the first crush I've had, like this is the first crush I've had where I've been like, okay, God, I'm going to give it completely to you. I'm not going to tell him I like him. I'm not going to pursue him more than he's pursuing me. I'm going to read the room. I'm not going to double text. I'm not like I was like, I'm not going to do all the things I've done in the past with boys that I've liked. So I've been giving him this crush the entire time. Which is why I just opened up to God and I was like, God, why did he ghost me? God, what do you have to say about ghosting? Because I'm really hurt right now. And I just love giving God my raw prayers because he's got answers. He literally planted in my head Isaiah 5. And yeah, so that's what I need to do. I just need to keep giving him my little concerns, my little thoughts, my little prayers, my little anxieties, and be like, hey God, I feel really sad today about this boy. Hey God, I keep thinking about, he's not running on my mind today. Lord, I feel really anxious that I'm never going to find anyone because I thought he was the one for me. Lord, like, what do you have to say to me here? What do you say about these situations? How can you love me? How can you be present in this space with me right now? I ask him those questions, and then he comes through and he answers them in a really loving way. And his answers don't make me feel condemnation, especially Deuteronomy. Every time you hear the 10 Commandments, you get all stressed, like, oh my God, I'm going to get yelled at. Sorry, oh my gosh, I'm going to get yelled at. And then, like, he just presented it like, these are for your good. Truly, 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 these are for your good. I'm not here to make fun of you. I'm not here to call you out. I'm not here to make you feel bad. Like, I'm just here to comfort you, and I'm trying to guide you in the right way. So yeah. Yeah, and I just felt really compelled to share this story with the internet. So yeah, thank you for listening. I hope this blesses someone else's day. Blessings out to all of y'all. Peace.